Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. We're making some color block cards today using a stencil by Craftreet. I'm going to use a wildflower stencil. I like this stencil because it has a lot of delicate silhouettes of flowers, and there are so many ways in which you can use this. The first card we are making, the supplies you will see on the screen. This is a very simple card, but looks very beautiful. So to begin, we need a cream colored card base, the wildflower stencil of course, and some repositionable adhesive, and these are scraps of handmade paper and plastic shades which I've cut into rectangles. I'm placing the card base on a plastic sheet because I don't want to get any paint on my paper, and now I will just adjust and place the of paper because I want to get a sense of where exactly I want to position my stencil. Once I'm happy with my pieces of colored cardstock, I'm just marking the edges with a pencil so that I will know where exactly the bits go. Now I also cut out a few rectangles from scrap paper because handmade paper is a little thin and I wanted to reinforce it. So I'm just going to do them. Now I've placed the stencil in position and I've added a little bit of washi tape to one side to create a hinge. I'll move the colored paper out of the way because we'll stencil on top of it later. And I'm positioning my card. Initially my idea was to do it with a pen, but then I found that the stencil is just too delicate and the pen was not going through properly. So instead what I'm going to do is pour some acrylic paint, black acrylic paint, and I'm going to use a finger dauber to apply the paint to the stencil. Simple enough process. You can just use a light tapping motion. Just make sure not to press the dauber too much because otherwise the paint will spread and it will get under the stencil and that will spoil. You will not get very crisp image with that. So now I've applied the paint, gently lift up the stencil and you can see how beautiful this branch looks. Leave it aside, let it dry a little bit. Now my paint is almost dry. In case you don't want to wait, you can also use a heat tool for the drying. I'm just applying a little bit of repositionable adhesive around the painted area. Now I'm going to place the bits of paper on it. I'm taking a lot of care not to smear the paint because the black paint is almost completely dry, but it might still be a little wet in patches. Now place the papers exactly the way you would do it, the way you want it to like in the finished card, and just press down lightly so that it will stick to where the repositionable adhesive is. Then now we put down the papers. I just flip the stencil back on. I had kept the black paint covered with a lid. This is a good idea in case you need to leave your work for a little bit. And now this is the card after I finished the painting on the bits of paper. It is completely dry. I've also stamped the sentiment on one of the pieces. And now I'm just removing the paper. I used an eraser to remove the repositionable adhesive so that it won't stain my paper. The basic of the card is ready. start to assemble, I first took some foam and I stuck it behind the pieces so that to give some dimension. I did that to all the pieces. You can also use foam tape in case you don't want to use or don't have fun foam at hand. There, the pieces are ready, including the little square which comes in the center. Now, assembling the card is simple. You can just take one piece and just align it against the branch which is at the bottom. And then just use the liquid glue to stick the pieces together. Now, there was a little bit of black paint which got on my card because I didn't cover the area adequately. Such mistakes are easy to correct. I just took a black sketch pen and I just extended the branch, the bottom of the branch, so that it covered up. Once you've done this, nobody will even know that you made a mistake there. I'm just going to use some liquid glue to stick the pieces back together. Aligning this is easy because you have the stencil branch at the bottom for reference. And using liquid glue gives you a little bit of wiggle room, so you can move around the pieces a little bit till you are happy with the way they look. I went with the other pieces, the ones with the stenciling on it first. And the sentiment piece, that was the last one that I put in place because I wanted to make sure that it was aligned well with the rest of the pieces. Because it's liquid, you can always shift the pieces around a little bit. And there, our card is ready. It's a very simple way of color blocking and very effective. Also a great way of using up all those scraps that we crafters find so difficult to throw away. Okay, let's move on to the next card. If you like inking and distress oxides and oxidants, this is the card for you. I've done a little bit of tone-on-tone inking in this. These are the supplies that you need. So what I've done is I've cut 3 pieces of white cardstock into 1.5 inch by 3 and 3/4 inch. They will basically fit on an A2 card size panel. I'm taking the first panel and I've also taken 3 shades of distress oxide inks in dark red, green and blue. I'm using a normal blending brush to ink up the panel completely with the ink. And I normally keep an old magazine handy for my inking. What I do is, once I finish the inking, I can just tear the page away, use the reverse, and so on. I'm using a little bit of scrap paper to hold the paper down because I don't want any fingerprints on the panel. There, I've turned the paper over and now I will take the next panel. I will ink that with the green ink. I love distress oxides because it's so easy to get very smooth blending with them. There, my green panel is ready. And the last panel, I'm using a bright blue color. Yeah, the blue panel is also ready. To add a little more interest, I'm going to add some water splatters on my pieces. So I'm lining them up and just using a brush to flick some water carefully on it. The secret to getting good water splatters is to take little amounts of water and go slowly. You can always add more later. Here are my panels which are ready. I allowed them to air dry completely so that the splatters would really show up beautifully. So now our basic panels are ready. Now I'm again taking my blending brushes, and to achieve a tone on tone effect, what I did was I used distress inks which were either the same shade or similar to the blue shades to the shades which I had used. So you'll see green, red, and blue, and of course my wildflower stencil. Now to do the tone on tone inking, what I'm going to do first is take my panel, place the stencil on it the way I want, and then I'll flip it over and use the washi tape to hold it down. This ensures that there are no areas on my ready block which will be covered by masking, and at the same time the paper will not move. I turn it over and I also use the washi tape to just block out open areas of the stencil through which the color might get over. This is a small step, but it can save you a lot of grief because your ready panel might just get spoiled because you got ink in areas where you did not want it. The inking is simple. I'm just taking my blending brush and gradually adding color. The secret to getting a good inked area is to apply layers of color. Don't press the brush too much because otherwise you will not get a crisp image, and just keep darkening it gradually till you're happy with the end result. Yeah, my panel is ready. I will just remove it, and there it is. A very beautiful tone on tone inked effect. You can really see how delicate the stencil is. The color will of course become a little lighter once it dries. And set that aside now and move on with my other panels, the other two panels. Also always remember to wipe down the stencil with a dry cloth. I'm using a dry cloth right now because I don't want any moisture to get on my panels. I've speeded up rest of the video a little bit because it is basically the same steps again. You place the stencil, hold it down with washi tape, and then ink it till you're happy with the silhouette image that you've got. So here are the three panels inked and all ready to go on the card. For the card, I'm taking a grey card base and I've cut a white mat which is 1/4 inch smaller than the card base. The card base is A2 size, so 4.5 by 5 and a, sorry, 4 and 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I have my panels, and the sentiment I have stamped it on a piece of white paper. So now first I'm going to put some foam on my panels to pop them up. Then I will take the white mat and I will glue the panels on it. I always like to use liquid glue because it gives me a little bit of place to move my pieces around. Once I'm happy with the alignment, with the placement of the three pieces, I will just put this aside to dry a little bit. You can use any glue which dries quickly for this. There, our basic panel is ready. For the sentiment, I trimmed this strip and I added two holes on two ends. And now I'm using the Craftreed waxed cotton card. This is the summer sky color. I like this card because it adds a little bit of interest to the card. I just snip off a little bit of the two lengths of the cord and I'll half it and thread it through the holes. If you want to make it more secure, you can just add little dots of glue so that the cord won't move. But normally I haven't found it necessary because this cord is waxed, so it doesn't shift around too much. Now I'll just take a little small piece of foam tape. Also, since it's popped up a little, the cord won't get in the way. Now I'll just push the pieces behind of the cord and then simply stick it down with a bit of sellotape. I don't like to make the cord too tight, otherwise it will just start pulling the paper inside. There, with the sellotape on, it's done. And now the final step, I'm going to take the foam tape, cut it into strips, and then pop up the whole panel on my grey card piece. If you don't want to use so much foam tape, you can also use a piece of foam which is cut slightly smaller than the panel and glue that. I just used foam tape since it was already there on my desk. I'm just peeling the backing off now. And just centering the panel over the card piece. And there, our card with tone-on-tone stenciling is ready. It's a very elegant card with a very subtle effect, which always looks beautiful. And you can do it in a lot of different colors, different combinations. Okay, now let's start with the last card. This was probably the one which took me the maximum time and also my very favorite card. So to begin, what I did was I cut 6 rectangles around 1.5 by 1.5 inch, and I'm going to place the stencil now on it. This time I'm just going to use sections of the stencil. I'm going to stick it down with some washi tape. And now I've taken a light green and I'm going to ink it very lightly with a blending brush. This has something like a shadow effect, so I'm going to be using 2 shades of each color, a light and a shade which is a couple of values darker. Just make sure you wipe down the stencil with a dry cloth and then just offset it slightly so that it is a little above and slightly on the side of the original stenciling that you've done. I'm sticking it down again with a bit of washi tape so that the paper doesn't move. Also covering up any areas through which color might get on my block. And now I'm using a darker shade of green to re-ink the stencil. What this does is creates the inked area and a sort of like a shadow area. Just to add some more interest, I'll take the lighter color again and lightly ink only one corner, the bottom right corner of the block. This sort of ties the whole thing together, and there, our first block is ready. I'm doing a second block in the same way, using a different part of the stencil. Again, repeat the steps of taping the square down and covering any areas with washi tape. And now I'm using a light blue to do the first inking. Once that is done, I will shift the stencil and then take a darker shade of blue. If you want, you can also dry the squares, dry the ink with a heat tool so that the ink doesn't smear. But since these are dye inks, they dry very fast and there was no issue. So I'm using the lighter blue now to ink the bottom right hand corner of the block, and the second block is ready. So I made a total of 5 blocks using different colors: blue, green, orange, red, and turquoise. Assembling the card is pretty easy. I took a top folding A2 size card base in white, and I've cut a grey mat which is 1/4 inch smaller than the card base on 3 sides. The mat I'm simply going to glue down with some liquid glue on the card base. I like the frame of white that it has on 3 sides. Just make sure that the mat is aligned properly at the top. Once you press it down, just open the card base and just make sure that the white doesn't show from the top. Now I'm taking a bit of paper because I've already stamped the sentiment on another block in purple, and I'm taking a light lilac ink and inking up the bottom right corner. Again, I'm using finger daubers because I find that they give me much more control, and it is very easy to apply just enough pressure so that you get nice crisp stenciled images. So now back to our card base. Just arrange the blocks on the card base in a way that you like it. I want the sentiment to come to the bottom right corner, so I'm placing that. And then arranging the rest of them. You can keep changing the order of the blocks till you are happy with the look, with the way the colors look. That looks good. So now I'm going to start picking up the blocks one at a time. Use some foam tape behind each block to pop it up. And then I'll stick it down. If you're unsure of being able to align, you can always draw guides with a ruler. But I didn't do that. I think visually also worked good enough for me. Always put the top two blocks first, and then the central one I can align with the two blocks on the top. Don't press down too much with your foam tape, so in case you need to move the block slightly, you can always do that. As always, I did the top and the bottom squares first, and then align the center one. And there, our card is ready. This is another card which you can do in a lot of different colors to suit all occasions. And it's a fun card to also use up your scraps of paper and try different parts of your stencil. I've used dye inks for this card, but you can always use distress oxides or distress inks as well. And here are the 3 cards with color blocking. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you'll join me very soon again for another video.